Pre-fight, I actually thought Porter was going to stop him. I thought Kell's stamina would be an issue, but obviously it wasn't an issue because he came on strong at the end and fought really well. Post-fight, I think Kell Brook's got some good fights ahead of him now. I think that should have helped him. I think he'll settle a lot more in his fights. I think he was worried about Porter's power for a good few rounds, and although he won a few of the first rounds, he sort of from 3 to 7, he just switched off and lost rounds. But I think that should help him, and I think in the future he could even be better than that. I had the fight a draw. The whole fight in particular, I thought it was a great fight. I thought it was, back and forward, good clash of styles. I mean, Kell Brook could have won the fight more convincingly on my own scorecard, but you need to put a bit more work rate in. And like I say, it's those rounds from round 4 to round 7 and 8. He just didn't do enough, and that's where he sort of let Porter into the fight, if you know what I mean. I don't think it could have done anything differently. I can't see 117, 111, and 116, 112 are still a bit harsh. I could have seen 7 rounds to 5 to Kell or to Porter, or a draw, definitely. But I thought that was a bit harsh. But yeah, I can't quite get my head around this, mate. The 2 American judges gave it wide decision to Kell Brook, and our guy, Dave Paris, he gave it a draw. Showtime had Kell Brook up on their cards, and Sky Sports had Shawn Porter up on their cards. So it was a, interesting spot for that. Who's worked it like that? It's really hard question because I had it a draw, so I would say both guys. I can appreciate Porter for his work rate, although he was very ragged at times. But Kell Brook was hitting him with a lot cleaner punches and just needed to lift his own work rate a bit, which he did in the last rounds. For me to win the last 3 rounds. So. Yeah. Maybe they just like the boxing style more than they like, I wouldn't say slugger style, but just work rate. Maybe they call clean shots over work rate, whereas other people prefer, an inside fight. I mean, the referee was definitely on Porter's side. I mean, he never broke the action once, and he never warned him for leading with his head constantly, for hitting behind the head constantly, Yeah, no, he definitely gassed. I mean, he was constant for the first 5, 6 rounds. But then he had a spurt at the start of the round, and then he was tired, and Kell had come on and finished the round strongly. His punch output went down rapidly. Definitely a fight I want to see. Would love to see that fight. I'd favour Khan. I think he's too fast for him. I mean, obviously Brook's got the chance with hitting him with something, but I don't know. I'd say Khan because I think he beat him to the punch. Khan's a very good boxer. He could take Kell's jab off him, and that's his key weapon. Whereas Porter can't do that because he's more of a, rough him up kind of guy. What's that? No. Yeah. Well, if they fought in May, I would expect Khan to win, but then he probably won't be out of fighting because of the Ramadan. But if that didn't happen, then I would think that Khan will give Mayweather a decent fight, just because of a different style, and with Mayweather getting older. Yeah. No worries, Cole.
Yeah, I'm here. Well, I had it a draw as well. I thought Porter would win pre-fight. I thought he would win a close decision. I said in the pre-fight video we did, I said I thought Brook and Porter would both do their best, and I thought it would require a coming out performance by Brook, like the best performance of his career. And to be fair, I don't think he did that. I don't think we saw the best Brook we've ever seen. I think that was a good Brook. I think it was his best opponent, but I don't think we saw the best Brook. And I had it 1-1-4 to 1-1-4. I thought it was a draw. I thought that Brook did well in the early couple of rounds, and he did well in the last few rounds. And I thought that Porter won most of the middle rounds. And I just felt that there were a lot of close rounds, and I gave the edge to Porter in most of them because I just felt that Brook wasn't letting his hands go enough. He wasn't throwing enough. And although he was being the more precise fighter, if it's that same old thing. It reminded me a bit of Mayweather versus Maidana. Loads of people said that Mayweather won by a mile. Won a boxing masterclass. I had it a draw because I think that even if your punches are more precise, if you're landing, say, I don't know, 10 out of 15 punches around, or I don't know, 20 out of 30 or something, and the other guy is landing 5 out of 50, I'd still think that the guy who's landing 5 out of 50 is possibly winning the round because at least he's showing the willingness to fight. At least he's coming forward. At least he's throwing volume punching. And I know some people say the name of the game is hit and not be hit, but it's one thing to say hit and not be hit, and then it's another thing to just not throw any punches and hit very seldomly. And so I don't care who won really. I mean, I had it a draw, and I thought it could have gone either way. So best of luck to Kell Brook really. What could have done better? What could both of them have done to look better? Well, I saw Brook landing precise shots in some of the rounds, but I wonder what people mean though when they say precise shots, because Kell Brook was throwing a lot of jabs, for example, and a lot of them were missing, and he seemed to only be throwing jabs, the occasional uppercut. He wasn't going to the body. I don't think he threw any. I think he might have thrown a couple of body shots early on, but he wasn't going to body. He was clinching far too much. That's another thing. I mean, that was the reason why I think he got his eye cut early on, was because he was doing what Amir Khan does a lot: throw one punch, clinch, throw one punch, clinch. It's what Ricky Hatton used to do, and I used to hate it. Um, I don't like that one punch clinch, one punch clinch. It's frustrating to watch. It's the sort of thing Bernard Hopkins does, but Bernard Hopkins isn't a skillster, whereas Kell Brook and Amir Khan are skillful fighters. They shouldn't be clinching so much. So I thought there was too much clinching. I thought Brook was the more precise fighter, but he wasn't that precise. I don't think he was throwing enough. Whereas I thought Shawn Porter might not have been very precise himself, but he was having a go. He was throwing volume punches. He was getting stuck in. He was trying to retain his title, but I'm not having much of a go at Brook because I think Porter is a really difficult fighter to go against. So Brook was always going to have it difficult because Porter isn't the sort of person who lets up. I think Brook showed that he's got a good chin because Porter landed everything on him: body shots, back of the head rabbit punches, body punches to the face. He landed everything, and Brook didn't flinch once. Yeah, I think he had a difficult job though. Like, remember when what's the British referee called? Ian John Lewis, Lewison, Ian John Lewis. When Ian John Lewis refereed Hopkins versus Pascal one, was it? I think it was their first fight, and it was just, I think it was that fight anyway, and it was just covered in clinching and all that, and he spent the whole fight trying to separate them both. It was a little bit like that. I mean, what are you going to do when one guy keeps clinching and then the other guy clinches and then they both, Porter goes in with the head? It must be frustrating to referees. So I can see why he wasn't warning Porter for all the rabbit punching. I mean, loads of fighters used to do that. Like Nigel Benn used to rabbit punch like nothing else. Yeah, I mean, he should have been warning him more, definitely. And maybe untying them up a few times. But Kell Brook was guilty of clinching constantly. Porter was guilty of going in with his head and rabbit punching. It's just one of those, like, Amir Khan gets rabbit punched a lot, but then he clinches a lot. He clinches a lot and then gets turned around a lot. So, I thought it was just a really like scrappy fight in some parts. Yeah, I was because I thought that close, even though the American TV crew all seem to have it for Brooke, and like all the American guys I know on Facebook and all that all had it to Brooke by quite a distance. Like one guy had it 118, 110, no, yeah, 118 to 110, yeah, to Brooke. They had it like quite a distance to Brooke. I still thought that Porter was edging it towards the end, and then Brooke, got a draw in the last round, in my opinion. So I thought that if I had it that way, then the judges would surely have it by to Porter by point or something. So I was a little bit shocked.
Yeah, mate. Well, if they robbed him, how can it be a draw? No. No. Well, I mean, all the rounds, pretty much every round was close. So when it's like that, you can't say it's a robbery. You know, I mean, the scorecards were lopsided, two of them, yeah, right, that's just obvious. But, you know, if either guy would have won or it had been a draw, you would have said it was right. Because it was a close fight, you know. It depends what work you liked. Really, the scorecards were bad apart from Dave Harris's, but that's the way boxing goes, you know. Yeah. Generally.
No, it wasn't a robbery at all. No, I thought it was a draw, and I think either guy could have had it. But like Kingy was just saying, it was just so close. I mean, if you were to score it, say like I don't know, 118 to 110, then you must have given like all the close rounds to Brook. Or if you had the same score to Porter, you would have given all the close rounds to Porter, which I think is maybe a bit bad because maybe you should be seeing it evened out a bit more. But I felt as though I gave Porter most of the close rounds because, like I said earlier, I think that if it's a close fight and one guy is, getting his punches off more, getting in on the inside, throwing more, throwing more volume, and then I think that if the other guy isn't throwing a similar amount of punches, then he's going to lose the round by default because he's just not throwing. And I thought that's what Brook was doing. I thought he was not throwing enough in some rounds, and even though he was being, landing precise punches at times, like I said, the analogy I said where, if you throw a certain amount and you land, that's okay, but you've got to make sure that the other guy isn't throwing a significant amount more, otherwise your punches will get drowned out. And, obviously the judges never saw it that way because they scored it to Brook, but for me, in that last round, I would have been saying to Brook, go for it, totally win this round by a mile, and he won the round in my opinion, but not by a mile.
Probably an easy one. Knowing Eddie Hearn. Yeah. Yeah, the homecoming then. Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, because, although Kell Brook's won the title now, he's not a massive name in England. I mean, if he was to have a couple more fights and then fight Amir Khan, then that would be a massive fight. Because by that time, everyone would know him, Yeah. Yeah, really. Yeah, sounds about right.
Well, rule out Mayweather and Pacquiao. Probably rule out Marquez because he's not going to want a Brook fight anyway. He wants rule out like Bradley and some of the like top ones. So you're left with guys like you're probably left with guys like Robert Guerrero, Devin Alexander. I think that's the sort of fight, Devin Alexander, because that was the fight he was meant to fight years and years ago, remember? And it just kept falling through. Didn't Brook keep getting injured? So there you go. Devin Alexander. It would probably have to be in America though. And if not, failing that, then yeah, homecoming against somebody. How about somebody like Leonard Bundu? Isn't he the guy who just beat Frankie Gavin?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dangerous. Yeah, he's dangerous. But it would be a good win for him. But he wouldn't get any credit for that win because they would say he's only European level. But he's like European/world level. He's better than. So yeah, I would say Robert Guerrero or Devin Alexander in the USA, failing that, at home against a European fighter.
Well, I reckon he's just going to do what he said after the fight, just get back to the drawing board and, get working hard again and maybe come back with, an easy-ish opponent and then try and get back into the world stage again. Which I reckon he can do, with that style, he can give anyone problems because he works that hard. That'll be a corking fight. It'll be a great fight. Could he still take that fight? You mean win that fight or take the fight? Yeah. Well, I think Thurman probably won it now, thinking, well, he's been beaten now, so, why not? Yeah. Yeah, there's some good fights there for him. Definitely. Well, I mean, anyone fighting that division is probably going to target Canelo because you're going to get a big payday. And, I think he's a bit overrated. But I'd stay away from Andrade and, guys like that. Okay. Lose. I reckon he can win that. Nah. Lose. Yeah, he'd win because Lara's too lazy. I would say lose, but that'd be closer, I reckon. Depends what James Kirkland shows up, man, Kirkland could be a dog when he wants to, but... Yeah, I'd say it probably is. There's always Cotto can go back down as well. Okay, make noise.
Yeah, Shawn Porter just, pick himself up. Shawn Porter is the sort of fighter who is going to rank up quite a lot of losses because he's the sort of guy who's beatable. He's a brawler. He's not a skill star. So he's the sort of fighter like Brandon Rios. There was a time when Brandon Rios was undefeated. He was making waves, and now he's had about 4 losses out of the last 5 or something. So same with Derek Chisora. Remember, he was winning all those fights, and now he's plummeted. Then he lost a load. So yeah, Shawn Porter. If he's smart, he won't take those losses on he'll take them on the chin and just carry on. So I think he just picks himself up and just goes to the next guy. No, he doesn't need to, calculate what's the best route. Just take, the best opportunity that's on the table. So he could fight guys like Guerrero or an Alexander rematch or someone like, I don't know, Malignaggi or a Bregu, or maybe someone like Maidana or Brandon Rios. But isn't Brandon Rios is the top rank? Who's Shawn Porter with? He's with Heyman, so Yeah. So all right. Well, you know, there's some fights out there for him, but you know, you have to who Porter. I'd have Porter at 147 because he's small. He's quite a small fighter. I don't think the likes of Miguel Cotto can go up to, you know, the heavier weights, but still remain, you know, be a midget. That's one thing, but most fighters shouldn't really go above that. After 147, you're sort of looking at a different height group. Like, look at Pacquiao. He got all the way up to welterweight from being, you know, a midget flyweight, all the way up to welterweight, and he can still be competitive, although, you know, he's a special fighter. Same with Mayweather, same with a few fighters, but when you get to that light middleweight stage, you're fighting middleweights. Like, you're up to that new stage. So then you've got the middleweights to, like, the light heavyweights, and then after that, you've got the cruiserweights and heavyweights. So, you know, I wouldn't recommend anyone below, say, 5'9" moving up to light middleweight. But Brook is bigger though. Brook is obviously bigger. I think he could make light middleweight comfortably. Brook, well, like I said, he needs to fight someone like Alexander or Guerrero or whatever. But yeah, I think he can move up to light middleweight easy. So I think in the next year or two, we could see Brook at light middleweight. The next two-weight world champion. Oh, Brook, because I don't think Porter will be a two-weight world champ.